be in the hallway, you go to the nearest classroom and lock down with that class. So if your classroom is making their way to the lunchroom and we go into a lockdown all of a sudden, make your way into the classroom and lock down with them. What if the fire alarm sounds? Stay put unless you smell smoke, right? Can we text our parents? It's a big one. Okay? Guys, if you can control what those kids do, and I know that's hard to do, if you can control what they do, wait until you have a good understanding of what's going on. Because if not, you're going to cause mass panic, and those parents are going to be trying to beat down the doors to get to their kids, and we're endangering the community at that point because we don't know what's going on. We haven't cleared the hallway yet. Okay? Let it settle down. And then also you have to think too, if they have their phone and the lights are out and it's really dark, y'all don't realize how bright those phones are. And all you're doing is saying, giving them a beacon of, here, I'm right here, come get me. Okay, so make sure, keep the phones up until we get to a point that you can allow them to text their parents. And we have some sort of communication between the admin team and the teachers so that they can let them know, hey, at this time, we're going to be doing this. Or we wait until officers come in to evacuate, and we'll talk about that here now. Okay. So we're going to evacuate to a location, whether it's to the gym, parking lot, whatever it is, the admin that's going to be making that announcement will make that decision as to where that location is going to be at that time. Okay. For students, tell them to leave their stuff behind. They don't need it. Okay. You need to get them out as soon as possible. They do not need to be figuring out where their backpack is. Listen for directions. Okay. For teachers, at the evacuation area, take attendance. Make sure you didn't lose Susie when we left the classroom. Okay. Other options are to self-evacuate. Okay, and we're going to watch this video.
During the initial moments of a school violence situation, the official call for a lockdown may not have occurred or not have been heard by everyone. You need to assess your personal safety. Consider your best option. This may include staying in a classroom behind a locked door, hiding, or evacuating. Self-evacuation, which means exiting the school and leaving the campus, is an option. If you're in a hallway, common area, or near an exterior door, self-evacuation may be your best choice. Once you've arrived at a safe location, you should immediately check in with your parents and the school district to let them know you're safe.
During a real situation, guys, if you hear gunshots and you're near a door, and let's just say you're coming in from lunch because you went out and got your lunch and came back, you can self-evacuate. Leave. Get out of there. Okay? My staff has been instructed, keep in mind, I have older kids, okay? But my staff has been instructed that if they hear gunshots and their door is locked and they have the availability to get out that window and take off, do it. I'd rather you be safe. It's harder to hit a moving target. Okay? With the littles, your job is to protect those babies. So if that means that I have to lock down in the classroom, that's probably safer for you. Okay? But if y'all are outside and you hear something, go to your evacuation point. Okay? Find that rendezvous point that you need to be safe at. Okay? Get them out of there. I promise you, those parents are not going to be mad at you for saving their life. Okay?
When law enforcement begins the evacuation, here is what to expect. An officer will unlock your door and enter the room. Stay where you are. The officer will give you specific instructions you must follow.
Springfield Police Department, you're safe, everything's okay, we're going to get you out of the building. I need everyone to follow my instructions. I need a single file line, leave all your personal property on the floor where it is, form me a single file line right here at the door. Teacher, I need you in front, please.
You will be asked to leave your stuff behind, form a line at the door with the teacher in front.
I need everyone to hold hands with the person to your right and left.
Hold hands with the person in front of and behind you until you reach your final destination. Wait quietly for further instructions from the officer.
Teacher, I need you to walk out, follow the instructions of that officer right there. Go ahead.
You will be told to proceed to the next officer. Walk, do not run, and do not talk.
Walk towards the stairs.
Follow the directions of the officers guiding you during the evacuation. They could be giving you verbal directions,
right to the stairs.
or hand signals. Watch the pace of your line. Be aware of obstacles such as corners, fallen objects, debris, or stairs which may affect the speed your line can move. Don't stop until you reach the location you were directed to.
Keep moving all the way to the end of the fence. All the way to the end of the fence. Keep moving.
Verify attendance and wait for further instructions.
Connor.
Here.
Andrew.
Alright, so for our students during evacuation, make sure that they keep their hands visible, okay? One of the first things that police officers are taught are that hands are dangerous. Okay, so if you notice when they were evacuating, there's a reason they had them hold hands, because their hands weren't digging for stuff. Okay? Leave their stuff behind, they don't need it. Only thing they need is their phone. Because once you evacuate out of that building, unless you have your parent phone list in that red binder when you take it, it's easier if we can get a hold of the parents with the kids' phones, okay? And make sure you bring your phone, okay? Don't be surprised if it's loud, okay? The students are gonna have to understand that those officers are gonna be loud because they're gonna be talking over them because the kids are gonna be freaking out because they don't know what's going on. So try to maintain as much silence as you possibly can, but they have to understand those officers are meant to be loud. Alright. So for teachers, make sure you grab your attendance sheet. Now, that's gonna be in the red binder. So one of the things, one of your chores, okay, is to make sure that you update every 9 weeks and keep a current roster in this red binder for your attendance purposes. Because all you're gonna think about is, alright, I have to grab my red binder, I go back and get my kids out of here now. And if it's already in here and you've already taken care of it, you don't have anything to worry about. Okay? So make sure, just keep it in the front page, so when you open it up, you should just have your roster right here in front. Okay? And then you grab it and go. Again, make sure you bring your phone, because we all know y'all have fun like that. Alright? At evacuation area, make sure you take attendance. Make sure we didn't lose anybody from point A to point B. Do you have permission to self-evacuate? Yes, absolutely. Okay. If you do self-evacuate, where do you go? Okay. Again, it's campus specific. Each campus has their own different rendezvous point. Okay. Alright. Now what happens if by some chance you are locked down, and I think this should be probably the lockdown spot, and I'll probably change it. But what happens if you hear, "Please open up"? Do you open the door? No. Because I can say that, can't I? Okay. There was a situation, and I'm really proud of this teacher, because at the time, until I went through all of these trainings, I'm not sure if I keep thinking, oh, police, I should open the door for them, right? Well, there's a teacher at Sandy Hook when all of the shooting happened. She refused to open the door. They were like, "Ma'am, this is really the police. I need you to open up. We need to evacuate your kids." She had stuffed herself into a closet with all of her kids protecting them. She refused. Would not open the door. Made them slide their badge underneath the door before she would open the door for them. And it's because for some reason they didn't have a key. Okay? We have keys to everything. So, unless an administrator or a police officer is opening your classroom, there's no reason you should open it. I don't care who's knocking on the door and saying they're police. Okay? What can you take with you? Phone. Just your phone. Leave everything else. You don't need it. And your red binder. Don't forget your red binder. And your go bag. Why do we keep our hands visible? Because again, police are taught these are dangerous. Okay. What will police do? They'll come in and they'll evacuate your classroom during a real situation. We're in a lockdown. Okay. We have shelter in place. Okay, so you're gonna hear shelter for whatever hazard it might be. Okay, this encompasses quite a few things. Okay, it could be a hazmat shelter. It could be an earthquake. More likely, we're going to shelter in place for tornadoes, because that's kind of what we have around here. So, again, tornado. Okay, it says get to a storm shelter. We don't have one, but we do have tornado safe areas. That's why why in your classroom, not only do you have your fire escape routes posted, but you also have your shelter in place now. Okay, so make sure you understand if my classroom isn't safe, what classroom am I evacuating to that is safe? And sometimes it's just the person right across the hall from you, okay? Or it might be right diagonal, right? But make sure that you understand. And what I used to do when I had to evacuate to someone else's classroom, I looked at my map, and then I had a sticky note, and I stuck it to my map. It says, go to room 208. So I knew, without a shadow of a doubt, if I had the shelter in place, I don't have to look at my map. I already had it kind of planned out, and I just put a sticky note there. Earthquake. If by chance we have an earthquake. All right, Danny, come on, just kidding. I'm not gonna make you do it. But get them under a desk so that they're protected from falling objects. If we ever have a hazmat situation, we'll more than likely just evacuate. But in some situations, they want you to seal the vents and doors, make sure there's no fumes coming in. Okay. Don't think we're gonna have a tsunami, but just in case, make sure we get to high ground. Okay. Or a zombie attack. In your go bags, there's a kit. And again, no laughs. Okay. No zombie attacks. During a hazard, okay, always listen for instructions so you know what to do. Be prepared for the unexpected. Okay. Teachers, if possible, take attendance. Okay. I know that during those times it's a little crazy, but make sure you're keeping up with your kids. Okay. Other hazards and safety strategies, we kind of went over them, but this just encompasses anything that we could run into that might require us to shelter in place. And then for our last one is we have our hold in our classroom. Okay. Our school has, again, one more action directive, and that's to hold in your classroom. Usually these are used for your medical emergencies. Okay. So it just means that we're not going to be switching classes. We're going to stay where we are until we get the all clear. Okay. So the halls need to be kept clear because a lot of the times it's going to be EMS is here, and EMS needs clear hallways to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible. Okay. So for students, remain in the classroom until it's all clear. It's going to be business as usual. The only thing I'm going to tell you is remain in the classroom until it's all clear, but close, not necessarily lock your door because it's not a big ordeal, but close the door. Because I'm going to tell you right now, knowing my kid, and she's only in first grade now, and if you've ever met her, you would know too. But if she sees EMS or fire decide to walk by the door, she's going to be like, it's a firefighter! And your classroom's going to be chaos after that. Because they're going to know what's going on, they're going to want to peek out the door, you're going to have to start yelling at them. So make sure that if you have a hold in your classroom, go ahead and close that door so all those outside distractions are taken care of. Okay. And again, business as usual, just don't switch classes until you get the all clear. Okay. And that's it. So, we will have some more procedures in place. I'm glad you brought that up, and I appreciate that, okay? This is a work in progress, guys. We're always gonna be changing and adding and making sure that things get updated with our emergency operations plan. The security response protocol is pretty self-explanatory as far as some of those directives and those actions. Just know that if you run into something on your campus that you're like, I don't think this is right, or let's just say you need a magnetic strip for your door. Report those things to your campus admin so that we can get it taken care of, okay? I have a good stack of magnetic strips in my office, so if you don't have one, let Ms. Burks know, and all she has to do is send me an email and I can walk over and give it to you, okay? If a door stops locking, okay, or your classroom door doesn't lock for any reason whatsoever, because the key broke off and I don't know what could happen, but if it does, report it right away so that we can get it fixed. Because I want to make sure that if we go into a lockdown, I don't want to run into, well, why is your door locked? Oh, well, it hasn't locked for like 3 weeks. I want to make sure that you're safe. Okay, that's our #1 priority, is school safety for you and all of our students. Okay, thank you guys for coming out, and I appreciate your patience today.